The producers here know you love Bo Nix, so we got to talk about him every day.
Let's do
just
it.
Get giddy. Look at that look in his eye. Oh, my gosh. Bo Nix, he had a massive game against the Falcons. Threw for 307 yards, 4 touchdowns. The mighty Falcons defense went outdoors and did nothing. We heard Sean Payton's praises throughout the week. Here's Patrick Surtain on Bo Nix.
You trying to win MVP. It's not even looking like offense rookie of the year. It look like MVP right now. But, man, it just goes, it's a testament to him. I mean, he puts the work in each and every week, and it shows, with his preparation. He stayed after hours to watch film, perfect his game. And, this is what you see from him. We have games like this. It's not a surprise because he puts the work in.
I don't know if you heard that, but he was basically saying, stays after, watches film, he's a pro.
Your kind of guy.
I don't like a lot of these guys getting off work early guys. Don't work for me. I like the grind of Patrick Surtain and Bo Nix. I'm feeling it with this team.
You are feeling it.
I am feeling it on Denver.
This is where I step aside, I let you do your thing, you go off.
I will tell you this.
Here we go.
Sources tell me.
Oh, wow, okay.
Sean Payton thinks I think Sean Payton thinks he got the best quarterback in the draft, and he thinks he's only getting better. I'm just telling you, he really thinks it's just starting. He's just getting his feet under it. His last 7 games, we have a graph on this. You go look at his last 7 games, this kid's getting better. He was pretty choppy for 3 weeks. He outplayed Mahomes 2 weeks ago. This stuff is magic, baby.
Joel Klatt could outplay Mahomes with the weapons that Mahomes has.
Okay, sure. Let's keep making up those excuses because Bo Nix has just apparently a stacked team right now. Okay, let's talk about this. You guys know I love Bo Nix as well. I think I said this before in a previous video, but Colin is not saying that lightly with what Sean Payton is saying about Bo Nix being the best quarterback in the draft, because Sean Payton's reputation and football knowledge is at stake when you make a claim like that. Okay? It's one thing if he's trying to speak it into existence and he's saying it to, like, in the locker room or to even Bo Nix himself or whatever. That's a different feel. But when Sean Payton knows when he's saying these types of comments to Colin Cowherd, okay, that gets out. That gets out to the world, right? That's how this works. And, that's how that relationship works. There's that understanding of all of that. And if Sean Payton is relaying that to Colin, then he's relaying that to the GM, to ownership, to whoever. And again, he has to truly believe it, because he can't just lie. You can't just say that, because then if he ends up being wrong, he's going to look dumb. He is going to look foolish. And the GM and ownership and other coaching staff, whoever, they're going to be like, you said this guy was going to be a top quarterback. You said that he was going to be better than Caleb and Jaden and JJ. And that's not the case. That couldn't be further from the truth. Bo Nix is a bust. It makes you question now how smart Sean Payton is. You'll question everything he does moving forward. So you have to, what I'm really trying to emphasize is that when someone like a Sean Payton, when a head coach is making that type of statement, it really has to be built off of an insane belief and knowledge of the game, because the reputational cost is huge. Truly, it actually has repercussions. There's no repercussions, and there should be maybe to a degree, when a fan or someone or whoever, media member, comes out and says, JJ McCarthy's going to be better than Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, and if that ends up not being true, like, people aren't, like, you're not getting fired, right? Fox Sports, ESPN, whoever, they're not firing that person. They might love it because it drives clicks and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, right? There's actually no repercussions. Now, it depends on what type of audience you're trying to build. If you're trying to build an audience where you're like a super expert, or if you're trying to have like real, honest, non-sensationalized conversations, then there can be an opportunity cost for that, for sure. If you paint the picture that you know everything more than everyone else, and then if you're wrong, it's like, well, see, you're wrong. How can I trust what you say now? Which is why I tried to create a channel based off of just like, let's just have like honest, real discussions about these things. Let's try to look at everything from all different angles. I'm not trying to make these bold claims. Bo Nix is going to win 7 Super Bowls and 10 MVPs. I could easily make videos like that, and I'm sure a lot of people would like it. But that's not the type of video that I'm trying to make. I'm also not trying to make insane future predictions or claim that I have all the knowledge in the world, that everything I say is 100% accurate, because I know there are going to be endless times that I am dead wrong. And I don't want people to be like, oh, see, you think you're right, you're wrong. Why listen to you now? It's like, well, because we're just having conversations. It's not a matter about being right or wrong. It's about just like, let's just have interesting conversations. That has been what I've been trying to, build here. So again, that is not everything that I just said. That is not the situation for an NFL head coach with an established reputation of being great, of being Hall of Fame adjacent. Like, his opinion has to mean something. It holds a tremendous amount of weight. And every time his opinion or his decision ends up being wrong, it knocks you down ever so slightly. It really does. He's not a media member. He is an NFL head coach. So that really means something special, honestly. So if Bo Nix ends up being the best quarterback in this draft, that ends up being what Sean Payton really believes him to be, I mean, my goodness, this team will be on a runaway train. I mean, Bo Nix has been so surgical. I think I heard the expression, I think Chris Sims said it maybe, surgically explosive. And that is what you're going to get with the Bo Nix. It's just so strategic and intentional. It's really great when your big plays, your big moments, your elite playmaking can be intentional. What makes Patrick Mahomes so special, and some of these other off-script quarterbacks, the Josh Allens, is that their eliteness comes up when it's largely not intentional, right? It's really so off-script, improvisation, making something out of nothing, which can be truly special when you're just like, oh man, what's about to happen now? And they find a way. I mean, and it's typically the most fun to watch too, when you're watching Patrick Mahomes kind of like scramble around for a second, and you're like, oh my God, are they going to bet him? Are they going to tackle him? And then he somehow throws to a wide open Travis Kelce for like 30 yards or something. And you're just like, how did that even happen? Like, how did that play unfold in the way that it did? And Bo Nix clearly has that in him as well. I mean, again, maybe not to the levels of like a Mahomes, but he obviously has that ability. It's not to say that he doesn't. But when he's so surgical and intentional and sees the field so accurately and is decisive in his decision making, and like I talk about being an elite playmaker from the pocket, it's just it really has the ability to be special, and it allows the team as well. It sets everyone else up, like I always talk about, the whole do your job. It makes it so much easier. In a way, sometimes to a degree, playing with a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes can be difficult in a little bit, because you're giving other players now kind of free range to have to kind of also make something out of nothing. And things can get a little crazy. It's why you need an elite head coach and culture like Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs have. Otherwise, things can get a little freestyly and a little wild, and you can see things kind of degrade a little bit. We see that in Baltimore. We've seen that with the Buffalo Bills. But when you can be elite and special on script as well, now you're preaching, because this is what we're seeing actually with the Detroit Lions. And you can just preach. You see this with Dan Campbell. Just do your job. Put in the work. Run the routes that you need to run. Offensive line, just buy our quarterback time. We will make special happen. We will have explosive plays. We don't need a quarterback to scramble for 45 seconds. Just do your job. Get open. Do what needs to do. Lay hard hits. Block. Just do it. Put in the work. Study. And we will win. And to me, that's what the Broncos could be following in that path. Where it's just like, all you do is have to preach, just do your job. Follow me and I will lead us to glory. And that's what you have. The Broncos are going to be, to me, more like, and again, they obviously have to draft and get these weapons. They will be more like what the Detroit Lions are becoming, rather than say like what the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, whatever it may be. And again, that's special. I mean, there's that real potential there. And as Bo Nix, as long as he continues to progress and grow, it's just like, and this is what I've said now multiple times, and I kind of enjoy saying it. Well, I'll just keep saying it. Like, this division now is finally going to be competitive. It's going to be the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers. And now there's whispers of like Shedeur Sanders and Coach Prime going to Las Vegas, which would be wild. I don't know how quickly they would be able to make that a contender, but would be interesting nonetheless. But that division is going to be box office. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be dogfight, and it's just going to be intense. It's going to be intense, and Bo Nix is going to be a huge reason because of that. A huge reason because of that. I'm really predicting that the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix are going to start to get into legendary duels with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Right? We've had this whole trajectory now for a while now with Mahomes and Lamar and the Ravens and, Mahomes and the Bills. Right? Like it's always been this big back and forth. And I think we're going to start to see that with Justin Herbert and Mahomes and Bo Nix and Mahomes. And it's going to be interesting. And what's really cool too, Bo Nix could really come into his prime when Patrick Mahomes is not the same quarterback that he once was. Like, that's obviously going to happen. When will it happen? I have no idea. But because Patrick Mahomes has already been in the league for so long, and part of what makes him special is some of his mobility. He's obviously not like a Lamar mobile, but it's just his elusiveness. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting that if the Kansas City Chiefs start to kind of come down a little bit, at the same time that the Denver Broncos start to rise a little bit, it's just the tides turn. And they can happen quickly. And again, I'm not counting out the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Like, I think they'll be competitive for years. I'm not saying like, oh, within the next 2 years, Kansas City Chiefs are cooked and Patrick Mahomes is cooked and he's never going to win it. Like, that's obviously not going to be the case either. But if the Broncos build something special, they build that Detroit Lions team, and they have it in this division going up against the I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is just real potential there. Real potential. There's so much at stake here. Really, there's so much at stake here. They have to nail the drafts. They have to be strategic and ruthless and smart in free agency. They have to take some chances, also get some pieces that people didn't see coming, where they're just like, wow, that was a great move. Why didn't anyone else grab this guy? Like, how was there not a bidding war for Saquon Barkley? The fact that, and Derrick Henry for that matter, I mean, the Ravens and Eagles were able to pretty easily get those two running backs, and it's been game changers for those franchises. Game changers. Season saving, quite frankly. The Broncos can do a little bit of that. I mean, it's big time. So I'm like so locked into what the Broncos can do and the progress of Bo Nix and how that relationship continues to develop with Sean Payton. And as I did the clip the other day, we know Nick Wright apparently thinks that Bo Nix is tricking people into believing that Bo Nix is actually a good quarterback, which I've already unpacked and disagreed with, we'll say. So definitely check out that clip if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of fear going around in that division of like, oh man, we used to be able to count on the Broncos not being able to have a good quarterback or a good coach for that matter. And they've been a mess. Now we have to start to worry about them. Oh, we've been able to, great luck with having the Chargers being a disastrously run franchise. Yeah, they got a really great quarterback, but like, my God, they can't get the coach right. Well, now they got the coach. So this division, man, is going to be fun for sure. For years to come, quite frankly, for years to come. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix apparently looking like the MVP right now? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.